And she's not saying that to discourage you or to try to give you a way to weasel out of it. It is our responsibility as leaders to be sure that our people are delivered. And it is so important, I feel, even with this conversation that we're having now, that you take heed to what we're saying. And we're not belittling anybody out there that is watching it. We just want to give you more insight about how to pursue this and how to go about it. And you need to be clear that when you move into the process of deliverance, it is not going to be some snap your finger, twinkle your nose, and it's done. It's going to actually take a lot of work. Another thing I want to deal with, woman of God, before we close, because you mentioned it earlier, but we've got to go back to that to help some people, because there have been some people that have really lived good lives. And even though they're sinners, and even though they may have been exposed to different type of lifestyles, they've basically been quote unquote good people. You know, I know a lot of sinners that are really good people, and I know a lot of Christians that are really bad people. But anyway, you know, you got some people that have had wholesome lifestyles and haven't really been involved in a lot of wickedness and haven't really been exposed to a lot of demonic activity. But they end up, at some point in their life, recognizing some type of demon operating in their lives. And we realize that this came from a generational curse. So would you explain to us about generational curses and how they work, how they can manifest, and what do you do about it?
Okay. A generational curse is a curse that's passed down from your forefathers. And we just take it as common. We've just become so, well, my mother had high blood pressure, so I have high blood pressure. My daddy has a big head, so of course I have a big head. You know? So, and I've seen where there's incest and molestation and rape in a family. I was explaining to some people recently, I said, you would think that the person that was molested would not be a molester. That they are promiscuous, as a matter of fact. But they are, because there was a transference from a generation, especially if it came from a family member from a generation. So then you begin to see patterns. Generational curse is a lifestyle. It's a pattern that in a family, you see 3 or 4 generations, pregnancies, unwed mothers, 3 or 4 generations, fathers in prison, grandfather, son, you know. My prime example, I know a star, all of her sisters died from cancer. There's just so many different aspects of generational curses. Alcoholics, whole family is alcoholic.
They're real.
They're very real. And to stop it, somebody has to say, the buck stopped here. Enough is enough. And I'm going to do some research and I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop so that it doesn't transfer down to my children.
So you can stop it.
Oh, absolutely.
And how do we stop it? How do we stop it?
You stop it by, first of all, acknowledging it. Because you can't stop it if you're in denial and just saying, it's in my family, this is how it is, and this is how it's always going to be. There has to be a point where you say, enough is enough. In my family, there was a systematic pattern of violence. Ever so often, one of the women would get killed by their mate. Spousal abuse. My mother had 3 sisters to die by the hands of their husbands. And so you have to say, this stops here. It's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to my daughter. So even things like that, begin to look at patterns in your family and just say, okay, that's just how we are.
But Prophetess Randle, you're causing a problem. This is causing a problem because, especially now, we seem to be in this uproar of domestic abuse cases where we've got celebrities beating up their girlfriends, or these type of things are coming up to the left and to the right. And we've seen so many shows of psychiatrists and psychologists who have the quote-unquote solutions about it. And one of the solutions I heard that really disturbed me, that I want to deal with and bust in the face, is because they say you're a product of your environment. Meaning they're saying because I was raised in the ghetto or in the projects, that this domestic violence is just a part of me because I was raised in that type of environment. But then, on the other hand, though, we have silver spoon people, millionaires. We have high-class people who are still involved in domestic violence, alcoholism. And so it clearly states to me that the problem is not you being a product of your environment.
Spiritual. It's totally spiritual. Everything about what's passed down from one generation to another, it's spiritual. It's not common. It's not natural. Yes, it's not even natural for the females or even the males, because I know some males that are abused by females.
Oh yeah.
And we want to focus on the females.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that a successful woman, what we would call successful. But if I haven't been healed, if I haven't been delivered from some things prior to success, and that was always my prayer, Father, prior to success, allow me to be whole, because it magnifies, even money magnifies your wounds. And so we say, well, they have all this money. Why are they doing this? Because it magnified a demon, whatever void that was empty there. And so now you're lonely, even the more. I'm going to call some names right here, because a BET just did a video of Donny Hathaway and Phyllis Hyman. Both of them very successful at the height of their careers. Schizophrenia, bipolar. And we just say bipolar and all these things are just coming. These are spirits that must be addressed and must be dealt with. And I can say that not just talking from them, but being diagnosed as one myself. But I'm able to have you a very intelligent conversation because I know what deliverance can do. And God has that for everybody and anybody. And the church, if I can say this, the church, we must come to a place that we do not get so intelligent, so sophisticated until we know more than what Jesus knew. If he came and he taught his disciples, this is not Old Testament, so I really don't want to hear that anymore. This is not Old Testament. If he came and he taught his disciples and found it necessary to teach them 2 by 2 how to cast out devils, then I find it must be necessary in this walk. But we want to teach them, everybody now, how to be prosperous, and I'm going to be prosperous, and it's fine with being prosperous. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also want to be healthy, whole, spiritually. So I think there needs to be a balance, that we come and bring our minds up under subjection, because we don't want that. We want an intelligent gospel. But to say that deliverance is not intelligent is to call Jesus ignorant. Because if it was a command and it was hands-on training, then who are we to say it's no longer real or valid? And isn't it, and as long as we keep denying it, the church is going to become more medicated, more suicides, more divorces, more pastors leaving their wives. Come on, can we talk up in here?
Please talk
in
here.
Can we go there?
Go there.
Pastors leaving their wives, and deacons going with the women in the church and everything else, and everybody's having everybody else, and the church becomes a whorehouse.
That's right.
Homosexuality is rampant. Nobody's going to say anything about it. But, and then you want to censor it. So, because we don't want to talk about it. It's like the law that was passed. Don't ask, don't tell. Some things you don't have to ask. You just see.
That's right.
And it's just, you can discern this. So until the church comes to, that's why there's a remnant that's coming up. And God keeps talking about a remnant that wants the whole loaf. We're going to eat it all. We're going to eat the prosperity, Apostle.
Oh, yes.
We're going to eat the best.
Yes.
And have the best.
Yes.
We're going to eat everything.
Yes.
But we're also going to have deliverance too.
That's right.
Because I don't want to be driving a Rolls Royce and suicidal.